Hi, do you know the difference between a fixed expression, an idiom, a collocation, and a phrasal verb? This is Susan Broder from Speak Languages and Travel the World, here to help you improve your English with minimum effort and maximum benefit. And today I'd like to help you distinguish these 4 different types of categories, which are very often confused, sometimes also interlinked. So let's start with the first one, which is a fixed expression. What is a fixed expression? A fixed expression is a combination of words that are always used together and are fixed. They can't be changed. The only thing that can be changed is the pronoun or the tense. But you can usually understand the meaning of this combination of words, but they are always used together. Therefore, the expression is called a fixed expression. Some examples of fixed expressions are the following. Can you keep an eye on my bag while I go for a swim? Keep an eye on here means watch. My mum kept an eye on the children whilst I was out. This means she looked after them. So to keep an eye on means to watch or to look after. Other examples of fixed phrases are a pain in the neck. When somebody is a pain in the neck, you can't stand them because they are always creating trouble. They are always a problem, just like a real pain in the neck. So we can say he's a pain in the neck. Another example is all hell broke loose, which means something really terrible happened when someone found out about something. All hell broke loose because it was something bad and everyone became furious. These are some examples of fixed expressions. What's the difference between a fixed expression and an idiom? So an idiom is also a combination of words, but you can't deduce the meaning of an idiom from the individual words put together, whilst you can in a fixed expression. Some examples of idioms are: we tried to organize a surprise party, but grandmother let the cat out of the bag. This means she revealed the secret. So to let the cat out of the bag means to reveal a secret, and it's absolutely not obvious from the combination of words that this means reveal a secret. Another example is, are you an active person or are you more of a couch potato? A couch potato is a lazy person who spends most of his time on the couch watching TV and doing nothing in particular. Couch potato. Another example is, are you pulling my leg? Are you making fun of me? Are you teasing me? To pull someone's leg is to tease them, and that also would not be at all obvious unless you knew the meaning. More examples of idioms are a blessing in disguise. When something bad happens and then you realize that it wasn't so bad after all, it's a blessing in disguise. To burn the midnight oil means to work all night, to work hard, work all night, probably referring to the time before electricity existed, of course. A further example is to cut corners. That means to try and do something, taking a shortcut, so skipping out some bits which often may lead to making mistakes or to not doing it very well. So when you cut corners, you try to save time, but often the quality of the product suffers if you cut corners. So if you try and take a shortcut, you may do it badly. You tend to do things badly. A far cry from means something totally different from something else. So you wanted to buy something and you realized you spent very little. It was a far cry from what you had really intended buying. So it just wasn't the same thing. It was very different. If you hit the nail on the head, it means you've done something absolutely right, or you are evaluating something and you find the specific point, so you hit the nail on the head and you got it exactly right. Collocations. What are collocations? Collocations are groups of words which have no rules, but they just sound right when you put them together. So that's important to use them together because you just sound more native. Native speakers will never speak about quick food. They'll go to a fast food restaurant because they want to eat quickly and have some fast food, not some quick food. So fast food is a collocation. Other collocations are fully aware. Are you fully aware of the consequences? You would never say, are you completely aware of the consequences? So fully aware is a collocation. Another example, she was utterly exhausted. So again, you would never say completely exhausted. Utterly exhausted is a collocation. I highly recommend using a collocations dictionary, and not I greatly recommend, I highly recommend. So highly recommend is another collocation. And speaking about collocation dictionaries, I recommend the online collocation dictionary, freecollocation.com. There are many different types of collocations. For example, the combination of an adjective and a noun, like strong coffee or regular exercise. The combination of a noun and a verb, the wind blows or the waves roll, or a collocation of a verb and a noun, such as make a complaint or do the laundry. A collocation of an adverb and an adjective, such as terribly disappointed, absolutely elated, or a noun and a noun, a bar of chocolate, a bag of crisps. A verb and an adverb, such as stirred well, or an adverb and a verb, such as finely chopped. And finally, there are the phrasal verbs, which are usually a verb and a preposition, or a verb and an adverb that take on a completely different meaning from the original verb. So these are phrasal verbs, such as get along with, which means be good friends. I get along with my sister. I'm good friends with my sister. Or hang on, when you mean wait a minute. Speaking to someone on the phone, you can say hang on, and you want them to wait for a moment whilst you ask someone else a question and then come back to them. So what's the best way to learn these collocations, phrasal verbs, idioms and fixed phrases? There are lists and lists, and I recommend you do not study the lists. There's no way you can learn them all. There are just too many. You have to pick out the most important ones, the ones you read in books, hear in music, hear in films, and put them into either Play Phrase Me or Youglish, depending. Sometimes Youglish has a great bank of phrasal verbs and collocations rather than Play Phrase Me, but in one or the other you put them in, and you can use them to have the phrases you want repeated in different contexts as many times as you like until they become an integral part of your active language, which is what you want. You have to use them, write them down, listen to them, and use them as much as possible to make them second nature for you, to make them an integral part of your active language, which is what we're aiming at. So don't aim at learning them all. Don't learn lists, it just doesn't make sense. Learn a few, put them into context, and use them, and then that's the only way that they come naturally to you. So if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified of any new videos I upload. And I hope this was very useful for you. Write down in the comments below which phrasal verbs, collocations, idioms, or fixed phrases you find particularly interesting to learn for yourselves. And that's all for today. Bye!